What is a video game that hasn't aged well? I downloaded a ROM of an old NES RPG called Ultima 3: Exodus. I remember as a kid thinking this was the most amazing open-world RPG I had ever seen. Even though it was completely confusing and hard as balls. Going back to it as a seasoned gamer, let's just say I had a really hard time playing more than 10 minutes. Twisted Metal. I remembered it blowing my teenaged mind when it came out, but going back it was a mess of barely controllable, barely distinguishable rectangles going bomp bomp bomp. The nostalgia filter was so strong that, for a second, I thought the PS1 was broken. The sad decline of Madden and the NHL games has to be up there. A lot of the early polygonal games in general are hard to go back to. It hurts my heart to write, say or even think this, but Gex 64. I tried playing it again a year or two ago and the graphics were so goddamned awful. The controls were insanely wonky and that is not how I remember it. I remember it looking clean and super awesome, and I remember being able to control Gex really easily. Nothing like I remember it. Bard's Tale is text-based combat. Roblox games. They went from nostalgic games that are fun with a great community, to just a bunch of scams with half-hearted content. Lee Carvalho's Pudding Challenge. Replayed it the other night, and it kept defaulting to Power Drive, even though I clearly selected Feather Touch. Angry Birds. I want the original game back. Sonic Adventure's physics engine and some of its level design aged like milk. Maybe a hot take, but GoldenEye on the N64 was one of my favorite games ever, but it's borderline unplayable now that modern shooters with 2 control sticks exist. Halo came out 4 years after GoldenEye, but the difference between them is so vast it might as well be a decade. The Sims. Sims 13 always had huge, good changes and extras added, but I especially want to mention The Sims 2. It had so many details. But then there's Sims 4: No Open World. Always loading screens. Non-working DLCs. Never fixed bugs from 2017 and so much more. NFS Underground. On hard difficulty. The rubber banding is insane, and between the physics and traffic you're basically bound to get screwed over at some point. The original GTA. I spent so much time playing that game, but how it ever spawned the series it did amazes me because the graphics and controls were so bad. Some people do not understand the question based from how they answered. Either that or I'm misunderstanding the question myself. Custer's Revenge. It didn't age well past 1989. Almost all of the original PlayStation-era games when they were still figuring out how to navigate 3D. OG Tomb Raider is just annoying to try and play now. I'll say it, GoldenEye. The game is so hard to aim nowadays. The graphics haven't aged well either. Chocobo Racing. I don't know if this was ever good, to be honest, but I rented it like 3 times when I was a kid and had so much fun with it. Played it recently and it's possibly the most glitchy Mario Kart clones ever made. Do not recommend.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.